Asia is burning. What began on February 27 as coordinated military action by the United States and Israel has quickly spiraled into a wider confrontation. Iran has responded with retaliatory strikes, including attacks on US bases in countries like Qatar and Oman. Missile and drone strikes have also targeted ships and energy facilities across the Gulf, from the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia to Bahrain and Kuwait. But as tensions rise across the region, global eyes are fixed on one narrow stretch of water, and that is the Strait of Hormuz, the world's busiest oil shipping channel. Iran says it will set fire to any ships trying to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. Usually, about 20% of global oil and gas passes through the narrow shipping lane in the Gulf. But Iran's General Sardar Jabari said that Tehran will now not let a single drop of oil leave the region. So what exactly is the Strait of Hormuz, and why does it matter so much? The Strait of Hormuz is one of the world's most critical shipping routes. We will show you the map here so that you can understand just how strategic this location is. On the map, it appears as a narrow passage between Iran to the north and Oman and the United Arab Emirates to the south. It connects the Persian Gulf to the Arabian Sea. At its narrowest point, it is barely 33 kilometers wide. Yet, through this small corridor flows a massive share of the world's energy supply. Every day, some of the world's largest oil tankers pass through these waters. According to estimates from the US Energy Information Administration, roughly 20 million barrels of oil move through the strait daily. This means energy trade worth hundreds of billions of dollars each year. Oil from Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Kuwait, Qatar and the UAE depends heavily on this route to reach global markets. And it's not just oil. Liquefied natural gas shipments, especially from Qatar, also pass through this waterway. Now, even without a formal physical blockade, the situation has changed dramatically. While there is no physical blockade, threats from the Iranians plus drone and missile attacks mean tankers are not going through the strait. The impact has been immediate. Brent crude briefly crossed $82 per barrel after multiple ships were attacked near the strait. Around 150 tankers have reportedly been left stranded. Shipping data shows that daily traffic through the strait has fallen sharply, with hundreds of vessels waiting on either side. So in effect, it is de facto closed. No one dares to go through. You can be attacked and you cannot get insurance, or it is extremely expensive, so you have to wait until the security situation is better. Freight rates are rising fast. According to data from the London Stock Exchange Group, the cost of hiring a supertanker from West Asia to China has nearly doubled in just days, crossing $400,000. War risk insurance premiums have also surged. Chinese shipping and logistics conglomerate COSCO Shipping's container liner unit said it had suspended all new bookings for routes to and from ports in West Asia region, including those in the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia. This is no longer just a regional crisis. It is now a global one. About 82% of the crude oil that passes through the Strait of Hormuz is destined for Asian markets. China, India, Japan and South Korea are among the largest buyers. China alone is estimated to purchase nearly 90% of Iran's oil exports. And when oil prices rise, the effects ripple through every economy.
The reason why gas prices are being impacted so quickly happens to be because of volatility. markets really react badly when you have a really stressful type of a situation, especially when you have an oil-rich area, as the Middle East happens to be. The Strait of Hormuz, for example, producing or transporting, I should say, back and forth about 20% of the world's oil supply on a daily basis in tankers. And when you have such a volatile situation creating an impact on the oil infrastructure itself, potentially, that's where you start running into that moment of nervous jitters that causes the markets to react.
Asian markets are already feeling the strain.
일본과 한국 이런 쪽이 왜 이렇게
The reason why Japan and South Korea's shares are falling so much is because Asian countries are the largest importers of West Asian crude oil. This phenomena is likely a consequence of this. Therefore, if the war is prolonged, South Korea's real economy itself will inevitably collapse. That, I think, is the biggest problem we can face.
한국의 에너지 수입이
About 71% of South Korea's energy imports come from West Asia, but about 99% of that come through the Strait of Hormuz. If the Strait of Hormuz were to become impossible and any problems arise, and considering that South Korea currently has 21 days worth of reserves, if the supply were to be suspended for even a month, the real economy would be completely devastated.
Europe is worried too.
This is, of course, damaging our economies. This is true for the oil prices and this is true for the gas prices as well. So that's the reason why we all hope that this war will come to an end as soon as possible.
For India, the Strait of Hormuz is equally critical. Nearly 40 to 50% of India's crude oil imports typically pass through this route. India's Petroleum and Natural Gas Minister Hardeep Singh Puri has said there is no immediate cause for concern regarding fuel supplies. The ministry has stated that India's strategic petroleum reserves, along with existing stocks, could provide coverage for up to 74 days if required. A 24/7 control room has been set up to monitor supplies. An interministerial group is also reviewing trade logistics to safeguard essential imports and exports. State-run refiners such as Indian Oil, HPCL and BPCL have reportedly increased LPG output at select facilities to manage any potential disruption. Still, the longer the strait remains unsafe, the greater the pressure on global supply chains. Iran's Revolutionary Guards have declared that the strait is under their full control and warned vessels not to transit. Under international law, countries control territorial waters up to 12 nautical miles from their coast. At its narrowest point, shipping lanes fall within the territorial waters of Iran and Oman. Military analysts say Iran could use fast attack boats, submarines, or even naval mines to disrupt traffic. But any sustained closure risks military escalation. The United States has previously escorted tankers through these waters, most notably during the tanker war phase of the Iran-Iraq conflict in the 1980s. President Donald Trump has indicated that the U.S. Navy could again escort oil tankers if necessary.
If we have a little high oil prices for a little while, but as soon as this ends, those prices are going to drop, I believe, lower than even before.
There are alternative routes. Saudi Arabia operates pipelines that can move crude to ports on the Red Sea. The UAE has a pipeline to Fujairah on the Gulf of Oman. But these routes cannot fully replace the volumes that pass through the Strait of Hormuz. A prolonged disruption could remove millions of barrels per day from global markets. Now, history gives a reminder. And this is not the first time the world has faced such a moment. Oil shocks in the 1970s triggered global recessions and reshaped energy policies for decades. Today, the Strait of Hormuz is once again at the center of geopolitical tension. The world is watching. What happens next in this narrow stretch of water could definitely decide the direction of the global economy. That's all in this edition of Connecting the Dots. We'll see you next week with more raging issues. Until then, it's a goodbye from all of us in the Delhi newsroom. This is Munmun Bhattacharya signing off. Take care and stay safe.